Salutations readers, welcome to or welcome back to the City Girl Writer channel, and today I'll be telling y'all my TBR for the Asian Readathon. Now, if you do not know what the Asian Readathon is, the Asian Readathon is a month-long reading marathon where we read books written by Asian authors in honor of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, at least here in the United States. The person who hosts this readathon every year is Cindy from With Cindy here on YouTube. I will link her channel down below, and I also will link the announcement video, which pretty much talks about all the details about the readathon, the theme, and all this stuff. So if you have any questions, definitely go to her channel in that video. Now, for this year's theme, it's going to be based, it's more loosely inspired by the movie Joyride, which will be coming out July 7th, so later on this year, where it follows four Asian American friends bonding while traveling through Asia in search of one of their birth mothers, while also discovering the truth of what it means to know and love themselves. So the prompts are going to be very much inspired by this movie, based on its premise, and also creative freedom with these prompts a little bit and your own interpretation. So yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do to have books that fit these prompts. Now the thing is though, is that this year there is a specific twist. So the twist for this year is that you can combine prompts and read in any order, but, and it's a big one, each book you read should feature a character or author of a different Asian ethnicity. So the point is not just about reading diversely, it's also to read at different diverse ethnicities as well. The point is to have various Asian ethnicities. So we're going doubly diverse here, all right? Okay, now we're on to the prompts and my TBR for these prompts. Now for me, I have two books that will fit into each of these prompts because it's just the only way for me to just make sure I really do actually complete this readathon. So I do have books. I do have like one book in each of these prompts that I'm like, okay, these are my main books. And then I'm like, if I don't feel in the mood to read this or I DNF it for some reason, then I have a backup plan. So let's start with the main books and then we go with the backup books for each prompt. So prompt number 1. Read a book written by an Asian author. Very simple, very straightforward, easy enough to do. So, my main book for this prompt is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Salutaions. I think this is adult fantasy romance. It's also a Mid-Autumn Festival retelling, which is pretty much based on the moon goddess Chang'e, but this one is going to be based on her daughter. Her daughter's name is Xinyin, and we follow Xinyin, who has to leave the moon because her mom was sent to the moon for breaking the rules or something. And the daughter, which no one knows about, no one knows that the daughter even exists, she has to flee the moon for some reason, and then she lands into the Celestial Kingdom, which this series is named after. So yeah, this is first book in this duology. Celestial Kingdom duology. I already do have the second book, and I really need to read this book this year because I had this book pre-ordered from last year. I even pre-ordered the second book, and I haven't read it at all last year. And I'm just like, look, I need to get through these books. So if I don't read it this year, it's getting on hold. All right? It's a read it or I'm on hauling it kind of situation. And it's really pretty too. And also it's signed by the author. Like it's really pretty, like the green sprayed edges. This is an alternate cover because it's the Waterstones exclusive. It's also signed. Again, like I said, I even got pre-order campaign merch and stuff. So this needs to be read. So priority 1. Now, if I don't get to Daughter of the Moon Goddess this month for whatever reason, or I'm not in the mood, or I DNF it, or something else happens, I do have a backup book for this prompt. And that is Yellowface, written by R.F. Kuang. This is literally my number 1 anticipated release of the year, okay? You've probably seen it around. It's gotten a lot of hype because of R.F. Kuang. But pretty much the premise is that we follow an Asian woman who steals the manuscript of her dead Asian friend and publishes it as her own with the ethnic-sounding author name, and posting a racially ambiguous author photo. It's like very much giving plagiarism, whiteface. It also has a lot of critique on the publishing industry. It's pretty much, I've been hearing a lot of people say who already like read that arc of it, saying that like if the Hesperians from the Poppy War trilogy and Letty from Babel were put into one person, then that's going to be like the main character of this book. And also it is going to be written in first person, so we're going to be in the head of this woman, which I'm just like, this is going to be torturous, but also it's a satire though. The thing is, this is a satire. This is going to be R.F. Kuang's literary debut, so it's a literary thriller that's also a satire. And I'm like, you know what? I am here for it. I'm here for it. After reading, Poppy War, reading Babel last year, I am here for a story like this. So, yep. So I am definitely looking forward to reading that. I've already had it pre-ordered. It comes out May 16th. So I'll be getting it a little bit later in the month. So I still want to read it in the month anyway. So we'll see what happens. All right. Prompt number 2. Read a book featuring a friendship between at least 2 Asian characters. All right. Now, this one was a little bit hard because for some reason I don't own a lot of books that does feature with friendships, or if there is a friendship that is not something is told within the synopsis. So I had to look up a little bit into like the Storygraph reading challenge and the directory for this Readathon challenge, which again will be linked. It's actually going to be part of like the link with the announcement, so it'll be just look it in the description, y'all. It's going to be down there, okay? All that information is going to be in the description. So I think the book I'll have as my main for this prompt will be The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshni Chokshi. So this one is Roshni Chokshi's adult debut, because she's more known for her YA series, which is the Gilded Wolves trilogy, and also I think her middle grade with this Arusha. So the only thing I know about this is that we follow an unnamed man who's the bridegroom who marries a woman named Indigo, and Indigo says, "Hey, we can get married as long as you do not ask questions about my past." But I think a relative of her dies, and they had to move into her childhood home. But also, I think there's a part where we also learn about Indigo's friend, Azure, I think. So I think that's where the friendship part comes in here. Like, Azure and Indigo are friends, and I think there's a point where we go back in that time, I think. I don't know. I've been hearing some mixed things about this because of people think that either the cover, title, synopsis is misleading to what the story actually is about. So that kind of makes me a little bit worried. I don't know where I'm going to fall lines of. There's people who just were disappointed because it didn't live up to their expectations. There's people who loved it because they were surprised. But based on what I've been hearing, it's kind of giving dark, gothic fairy tale, because it's also, I think, going to be inspired by like Bluebeard, which I've never read this original tale at all, so I don't know if it's gonna be that much similar or it's just inspired or what. I don't really know, but I do know is that it's dark gothic fairy tale vibes. So yeah, definitely here for it. I do hope the whole friendship stuff is more prevalent though than ever. But yeah, I'm curious because I've been liking some gothic fiction lately, so I think this will be the book for me. But if I don't get to this book later, if I don't get to this book this month, then my backup will be Lonely Castle in the Mirror. I don't remember the author's name on this one, unfortunately. But I do, and also I don't really know too much of what's actually even about either. But I do have an idea that's something regarding the lines of like Japanese students who don't want to be in school, or maybe they're afraid of school or something, and then they found this magical mirror where they can go to like an alternate reality or something. All I know is it's very much giving magical realism, and yeah, it's very much giving magical realism. That's kind of all I really know about it. But I heard that a lot of people really love this one, and also had like a reprint. It has like a totally different cover now than its original cover. So, I don't know. I think this would be it. It's just the problem is I don't own a copy of this one. It's not like something I have to really pre-order besides like the paperback, I guess. But hopefully I can get it from the library. If not, I'll just get my own copy, or Last Tale of the Flower Bride would just be the book I read for this prompt. It is what it is. All right. Prompt number 3. Read a book written by an Asian author and/or featured an Asian character that is focused on identity and self-discovery. Okay. This one, honestly, is pretty easy. Not gonna lie. I do own several books that can fit in this prompt, but I definitely narrowed it down to 2 books. So we'll start with my main pick, which is On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. This one is pretty much a book that's like a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Now, we have the speaker named Little Dog, who's in his late 20s, and this letter unearths a family's history that began before he was born, a history whose epicenter is rooted in Vietnam. Sorry, y'all, I genuinely have no idea quite on what this is about, but I've been hearing a lot of people really talk about it, especially with Ocean Vuong, since he's also a poet, and I do find that novels written by poets are really well written. Like, they have really great prose. So I'm just here for that. And also definitely giving like identity and self-discovery because of, family history, mother and son, especially with a mother that can't even read these letters. So this is more cathartic. It looks like a exploration of race, class, masculinity as well. So It's going to be pretty much going to be some heavy topics, so I think I'm going to have to look at the content warnings for this one, just to be 100% sure, but it sounds like up my alley. It sounds like something I'm going to love. I don't know if I'll tear up or cry, but, first for everything. Now, if I don't get to this book, I do have a backup, and my backup is actually a nonfiction, which is the only nonfiction I have for this TBR, and that is Ace. What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society, and the Medium of Sex by Angela Chen. This one I've had for a little while. This pretty much just, again, is nonfiction talking about asexuality. And what this means, talks about desire, society, and sex. So, yeah, it's pretty much self-explanatory. And honestly, I am looking forward to reading this. I just needed an excuse to read nonfiction because, admittedly, I am not a big fan of... I'm not going to say a big fan. I'm just not someone who avidly reads nonfiction. But when I do have a topic that I am interested in, I will go for a nonfiction book. And this is definitely something I've been looking forward to reading, and I've seen it around, especially when it comes with books regarding queer fiction, and especially regarding asexuality. This is very much a popular book. It gets recommended a lot, so looking for that. It obviously fits into identity. It's sexual identity. Very much easy. All right. Prompt number 4. Read a book written by an Asian author and or featuring an Asian character that shows them going on an adventure. All right. I like this prompt, honestly, because I do like myself some adventurous novels and stories. I just like that. Now, I wasn't totally sure which book would really be part of, like, the main one, and which one's, like, a backup. So, honestly, these two books are going to be interchangeable for me. They could be a backup, they could be the main, whichever one. But one I do really hope to get into, maybe this month, if not, it would just be the backup, who knows. But the one I really want to get into this month is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This is pretty much a big one on my TBR because I actually have already started reading it. I'm only on page 26. It's just that it's kind of a lot for me to get into right now because this is literary fantasy, which is not something I'm used to reading. Like literary fiction and fantasy to mix together. That's also a standalone. That's new for me, all right? That's pretty much new for me. And I think it also has some queer characters in here too, I think. So, looking forward to that. And I can't really tell you. Let's see, what is this about? I'm just going to look here. So, yeah, new epic fantasy. 2 warriors shepherd an ancient god across a broken land to end the tyrannical reign of a royal family. Yeah, very much giving adventure. And actually, thankfully, there's even like a table of contents in here that pretty much gives off like days and stuff, like first day, second day to the 5th day, before or after. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much giving adventure. Very, very much giving off adventure. So definitely fits in this prompt here for sure. I just don't know if I'll get into it because I also have Daughter and the Moon Goddess, which is like 500, close to 500 pages. This one's over 500 pages, so I don't know if I'll get to it this month, but hopefully I will. So I don't know if this is priority or not, but since I've already started it kind of is. So yeah. Now the book though that is my backup, but it's also much shorter, is This Is How You Lose the Time War which is co-written by Amal El Motar and Max Gladstone. This one, the only thing I noted, this is like adult sci-fi with a sapphic relationship as well. That's pretty prevalent between the red and blue bird. I think this is two people going opposing sides. One red, one blue, and they send letters to each other, I think. Yeah. They're pretty much just sending letters to each other. And yeah, that's pretty much all I really know about it. But I did chose this as a possible backup because of possibly, I don't know necessarily if it's quite into adventure, much like The Spear Cuts Through Water, but it does give me the sense of like maybe an emotional adventure, maybe? I'm not quite sure. Maybe an emotional, queer adventure. I don't know. I don't really know quite what the adventure would really fit in here. I just know that it kind of does fit in this prompt a little bit. So, again, open for interpretation. I'm just saying that this will fit. All right, prompt number 5 and the final prompt. Read a book featuring an Asian character who is either a hot mess, famous, or eccentric. This one was a little bit hard to come up with because it requires me to go a little bit more further into the synopses, and I don't want to go too deep in the synopses, but thankfully there is a Storygraph directory that people will add into, seeing if books will fit into particular prompts. So I had to rely on that one to really know what books would fit here that I already own or I can easily access from the library. And the book that I definitely want to prioritize for this prompt is Disorientation by Elaine Say Cho. I hope I pronounced that. I hope I pronounced the last name correctly. But Disorientation. This one, based on the synopsis, is very much giving hot mess of a character. Because we're following a 29-year-old PhD student named Ingrid Young who is desperate to finish her dissertation on a late canonical poet. Yeah, and she's just doing a lot of research things. She's worrying about school, academic hell. Very much giving dark academia. Very much so. And I'm just like, and based on the title, Disorientation, and you need a character that's a hot mess, I think this is the book that just obviously fits that prompt. And I'm just like, very much looking forward to it. And it's not too long either. I think it's only a little bit more than 300 pages. So, hopefully I'll get into it. And I hope I love it. It sounds like up my alley, so I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping for all the vibes. Now, the book that will be the backup for this prompt will be Silver Under Nightfall by Rin Chapeko. So this is the first in a series. This is also adult fantasy, featuring a polyamorous relationship, because we follow our protagonist Remy, who I think kills vampires, because it's also a vampire book as well, but then also has to work with two people, I think, who are like high in the court or something in the city with vampires and stuff, and they start to fall in love and things. And yeah, I think this book fits really into this prompt, because I'm not quite sure about the eccentric part, but I think with famous, especially since this is going to be a polyamorous relationship, I do figure out the two people that are going to be in a relationship with Remy will be in the famous part. So I think that famous part is going to work with this prompt. And also, I just want an excuse to read it, because I don't really see a lot of people talk about this book, let alone even read it, at least not on BookTube. And it's vampires. It's first in a series. There's actually, the sequel's coming out literally later on this year, so I gotta be on top of it, because if I love the series, I need to be on top of it. So let's get to it. But again, this is like a backup. So if I don't read Disorientation, I have this one. Okay, so these are the books that are my backups, besides, like, you know, Yellowface, Lonely Castle in the Mirror. These are my backup books. And just in case I don't read, or I don't finish, or I DNF my main books, which are right here. So we have Dawn the Moon Goddess, Last of the Flower Bright, Spirit Cuts Through Water, Disorientation, and On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. So Salutaions is Chinese, Rashni Chokshi is Indian and Filipino, Simon Jimenez is Filipino, Elaine Say Cho is Taiwanese, and then we have Ocean Vaughn, who is Vietnamese. So again, the goal is for this readathon is to read not just diversely in general, but also just to read different ethnicities. That is the goal here. And then for Rin Chapeko is Filipino. One of the authors for This Is How You Lose the Time War, Amal El-Motar, is Lebanese. And then Angela Chen is Chinese. R.F. Kwong, Chinese. The author of Lonely Castle in the Mirror is Japanese. But yeah, that's pretty much my TBR for really the month of May. For the most part, those are my priority reads. So let me know down below, what are y'all going to be participating in Asian Readathon? You don't really need to do too much as far as like how to participate. You just read books by Asian authors, and hopefully they fit in these prompts. But again, the point is you read books by Asian authors and also from different ethnicities. So I will link down below again Cindy's channel, and I'll also link down the announcement video, the directory for the Asian Readathon, the Storygraph challenge for this year, and also there's a Google Doc as well for all the information as well, so I'll also link that down below too. But anyways, yes, that's pretty much it. If you like this video, please like this video. Please subscribe if you want to watch, if you want to be notified of other videos that I upload next, and also reading sprints. Also, please comment down below your thoughts as well on my picks. Do you all have any recommendations for other books that could have fit these prompts? Are y'all going to be participating as well? If you don't have anything else to say, leave me a moon emoji. Any of the various moon emojis. That way it can remind me to, you know, read Dawn the Moon Goddess, because if I don't read Dawn the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior this year, they're both getting on hold. But anyways, again, thank you again for coming on to this video and coming on my channel, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye!